It's good to see you again once more. And it's amazing what's happened to Google this past week, so don't go away. Hey there, it's great to be back once again and to take a look at the numbers this week. But just before we start to get going, let me tell you, I've had some great times in Clubhouse. I want to thank all those people that have been in Clubhouse and some of the sessions in there, or are they sessions, or some of the rooms in there really, have been some great discussions. One thing I would just say about Clubhouse, be careful who you listen to. As I always say to my kids, go to somebody, don't go to anybody. So if you want to find out about jewelry, you go to the jeweler, you don't go to the butcher. If you want to find out about how to bake bread, you don't go to the greengrocer, you go to the baker. In the same fashion, if you want to find out about domains, then take a look at the person. How long have they been in the industry and that sort of stuff for? In fact, I had a really interesting discussion about that with a group of old-time domainers who have been in the industry for 20 years or so. And one of the things I said was this: not a massive fan of doing this, but I'll tell you one thing that Name Pros is good for is you go there, you look at a person, you see when they signed up, and that'll give you an idea whether they're a newbie trying to go on spruik some quick product or a quick domain or something like that, or they someone who really knows what they're talking about. Gives you a rough idea. I'm not saying it's the be all and end all, but it gives you a rough idea. But anyway, yeah, so Clubhouse has been amazing. Domains have been going from strength to strength. There's been a whole lot of new people have come into the industry, which has been fantastic. Had a great time this week speaking to the Indian community. I must admit, from 1:30 in the morning until 4 o'clock in the morning for me, but it was really good. And want to give a shout out to Jay there who coordinated all. It was an awesome time. Really had a blast doing that, and love to do it again sometime. Yeah, so talked about monetization there. MCL.club is firing on all cylinders, and that's going well. So I'm having a great time. I don't know about you, but there's been some massive changes in the numbers in this past week. Something shifted in the landscape. Google took a bit of a dive. So let's take a look at what they're doing. They're telling us. So, okay then. Monetization industry update, the 5th of March. By the way, I just want to thank also all those people that went along and have said to me, hey, Michael, you missed out on a week. Why did you miss out on a week? And for this. And when I explained to them there was a problem with my dad and everything like that, I got such an outpouring of warmth. So thank you very much to all those people that really appreciate your prayers and thoughts. But anyway, okay, so monetization industry update. Now we're taking a look. Remember, this is the RPM and the normalized RPM, and I go in MCL.club, go into the difference between those two. But if you look at it, it just fell off the edge of a cliff here. That's the normalized RPM, and the RPM really dropped as well. Just looking at the end, and it's quite staggering how far it fell. We can see this also, the earnings per click. That's the 14-day trend just there, and it had a breakaway for a while, and then it just, oh, look at how sharp it pulled back. Yet the CTR remained flat. So that's the red is the earnings per click rate. Okay, so volatility. For the first time I've seen in ages, if you look back across here, the volatility was basically following a 7-day cycle, like bit of bump, down, up, down, sort of across the last sort of 6 months or so. But take a look at this past week. It just took a big dive, a really big dive just there. And it's bringing up a bit more at the end, but overall, it was a big dive. Okay, so the normalized RPM growth from base, look at it slide off. And that's the base of the 1st of January last year. And what was the normalized RPM in be? So compared against that in terms of percentage-wise, and it really just, there's some big changes happening here. I hope it's just a perturbation or some errors in technology or something like that. And by the way, Google has problems with technology. Direct advertisers have problems with technology. Parking companies have problems with technology. All that sort of stuff. I do know that we didn't have a problem with technology here at ParkLogic. Okay, yeah, so Google has once again dropped back more, and look at the little upward tick at the end here of direct advertising networks. Yeah, that's looking promising. But once again, it's a breakout from that constant sort of 7-day type cycle. Google and also the direct advertising networks, which are in red, Google's in blue. We can see that it's been relatively flat, although the direct advertising networks are slowly gaining. It's very slow on the amount of traffic they're gaining, although they're paying a lot more on for that traffic. So let's take a look at what's going on. The normalized RPM since January 1, 2020. And we can see here, this is where we can get a glimpse of what's actually going on. And you see it was Google just fell off the edge of a cliff. Like, look at that. It just fell down this past week versus direct advertisers have been picking up to try to pick up some of that slack. Google just, for whatever reason, it just died. When you say died, in the scheme of things, it's still up there. But yeah, compared to normal, there's been some big changes. And if we zoom in a bit further and say from 1st of August last year until now, and you can see direct advertisers have really picked up. Google just, like, it has fallen away quite considerably. But if we put them on the same axes, like I like to do, there's that Google falling away, direct advertisers going up. So that's using that same right-hand axis. So Google really did, it has fallen away. And if we take a look at this, direct advertisers going up low. That was last week, by the way. They're both sort of relatively flat, but going down. But take a look at this week. Is Google has fallen away, direct advertisers are up. And that's what the whole week was about. Big changes, big changes, if you ask me. And look at volatility. We can see it in volatility here. The direct advertising networks going up, and at the end in red and in blue, Google is just sliding away just there. And even more, you can see it in here when we separate out the direct advertising networks in red. They got that upward tick at the end, and Google there. That's the growth from base. Remember, Google's base is small compared to the direct advertising networks is much higher. And we saw that in one of the previous slides. But anyway, yeah, so some big changes there. I hope it's not a trend. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a technology issue, that someone's technology just broke somewhere. And I really hope that's going to be that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a technology issue, like I said, that's caused this because of just what we're seeing some other numbers internally at ParkLogic here with different providers. Because one of the nice things about ParkLogic is we get a picture of the whole industry and we can see how it's moved and so forth like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Yeah, in terms of what's been going on. But, you know, it's big changes. Like if you don't have direct advertising in your mix, you're stuffed this past week. It's funny, you know, we're seeing a big change in Google's there, but that didn't impact our clients nearly as much because the direct advertisers picked up the slack and all that sort of stuff. And so they bolstered things moving forward. So that was really quite good. So speaking of which is something I should be saying, talking about is also, don't forget ParkLogic. Say you saw this video, so I know that you're a real person, you get a lot of spam account applications. Check out my blog, there's lots of stuff on there at michaelgilmore.com, which is Whizbang's blog, and mcl.club. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this week's update. I look forward to hearing from you. See you later then. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that video and you find them really valuable for your business and helping you make better decisions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or pass the video on to your friends. Anyway, thanks a lot for that. Have a great day. Bye.